Do you know why black people do not want to be called African? Well, that's what we're going to look at in today's lesson and the next few lessons coming up. So let's get to it. Today, I am going to introduce you to an old book. But if you have not watched the previous lessons, please go back and watch them. I strongly recommend that so that you will be up to date and understand what we're talking about. The book that we are looking at today is The Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson, written back in 1933, almost 100 years ago. And if you don't know who Carter G. Woodson is, he is the person who is responsible for creating what at the time was Negro History Month, Negro History Week, which has evolved into Black History Month. He is pivotal to our understanding of ourselves and knew why we had to study ourselves. And so this book, I first read the book when I was a student at Princeton Theological Seminary working on my master's degree. I had heard about the book, had never gotten around to reading it. When I did sit down to read it, the first sentence in the first chapter hit me like a ton of bricks, knocked me over. And we're going to look at that now and examine what is being said there. Chapter 1, titled The Seat of the Trouble. The educated Negroes, he says. And when I read that, I thought, oh, wow, he's talking about me because I consider myself one of the educated Negroes. What he means by that is those of us who have graduated from high school, college, have master's degrees, PhDs, and so forth. The educated Negroes. And of course, Woodson is using the term Negroes that was in vogue at the time. So he says, the educated Negroes have the attitude of contempt toward their own people because in their own as well as in their mixed schools, Negroes are taught to admire the Hebrew, the Greek, and the Latin and the Teuton, and to despise the African. When I read that, it stopped me right in my tracks. And the reason it stopped me in my tracks because the validity of what he was saying was so powerful because I was the example of it. I had studied biblical Hebrew, biblical Greek, and Aramaic. I knew all of those languages. I knew the history of those people, and I was enamored with the history of those people. And so let's look at some of these words of what he's saying here. And so Woodson says the educated Negroes have the attitude of contempt. That is a feeling that a person or a thing is beneath them, beneath consideration. They are worthless or deserving scorn. And so what does it mean to be worthless? To consider something worthless is to consider that it has no value or no use. And scorn is the feeling or belief that someone or something is worthless or despicable. And despicable means deserving of hatred and contempt. So when we consider what Woodson is saying there, he's saying, boldly, correctly, that we have a hatred for ourselves, for our people. And we have been taught that. We have been conditioned into that situation. And so when I hear people say, we don't have unity, why don't we have unity? It's because we do not like each other. We don't trust each other. That is by design. And until we understand that kernel of truth, we won't be able to move to the next step. Also, within this statement, he says that we've been taught to admire. I mean, that's to put on a pedestal the Hebrews and the Greeks and others. The Hebrews, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, every Sunday morning for most people's of our people's lives, they are hearing about these people. They cannot help but admire them, and some of them even call them the people of God. So much so, they told us, hey, they're the people, we're the people of God, and we believe them without any kind of examination. And so we have some of our people who are misinformed, misguided, now call themselves the Black Hebrews, trying to trace their roots back to those people. Two of my mentors were in that movement back in the 1950s and 60s. And they taught us about what it was about and how they were able to come out of it because they came into the knowledge of themselves. And so I understand that. Then, of course, the Greeks, when he says that we are taught to admire the Greeks, that is the Europeans and their descendants. We adore them, we admire them because that's what they have taught us. And so we want to be like them, do the things that they do. We have been disconnected, dislocated from our own culture into their culture, and we admire their culture. And so the question becomes then, why is this? What happened that caused this? That caused us to be this way? And so in the next lesson, we're going to look specifically at what was said and done to get us to that place so that it repeats itself generation after generation, that we hate and have contempt for us. This is a short lesson, but go back over this, listen to this. If you don't have that book, get it. And I appreciate you. Follow me, share this, and let me know what you think in the comments.